has been 3 years since the SAFE Act was passed, making New York State the first state to pass sweeping gun control regulations.
The controversial law was written in response to the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in Connecticut and aimed at cracking down on gun violence in New York. But is the SAFE Act working? Rachel Spots takes that question to lawmakers in our exclusive New York State Exposed report. Rachel.
Yeah, Scott, it's been no stranger to controversy. The SAFE Act was rushed through the state legislature 3 years ago. Critics say it's failed to make New Yorkers safer, but supporters argue it has helped to cut down on gun violence. Now, we're asking, where does the law stand today?
Well, by any objective standard, you got to say this law is a total failure.
The legislation had been rushed through the state legislature and passed in the middle of the night, just days after the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Stephen Alstead is the president of SCOPE, a gun rights organization. He speaks for a lot of upset gun owners in Western New York.
A lot of people very upset about the things that were in this bill.
There's been a lot of criticism of the SAFE Act, how it was passed very quickly in the middle of the night. Now, looking back, do you think that more time was needed to really research what would work, what would not work?
Well, look, legislation is a continuum. We continue to work on and revise and look at what works and doesn't work. I think the fact that gun deaths are down in New York State is an indication the SAFE Act has worked.
Assembly Majority Leader Joe Morelli says gun-related deaths in New York are on the decline. In Rochester, gun-related homicides are down from 39 in 2005 to 24 this past year. If that's true, how is this not working in some aspect?
The states and the cities with the toughest gun laws in America are the cities with the highest murder rates with guns in America. Take a look at Chicago, where it's virtually impossible to own a firearm legally, and yet the streets there are like the Wild West with murder and mayhem every weekend. Assemblyman
Bill Nojay says the SAFE Act is a failure. He points to a low compliance rate. Less than 4% of an estimated 1 million assault weapons have been registered under the SAFE Act.
We need more police, we need better enforcement, and we need a criminal justice system that doesn't release these people back on the streets.
What's missing in the SAFE Act and more recently in the president's proposals on guns is any additional resources for police to investigate criminal gang activity, to investigate and prosecute, because that's where the vast majority of the crimes committed with guns is in this country.
Alstead, like many gun owners, wants to see the SAFE Act repealed. Their argument, it does not keep guns away from criminals, but instead takes away the rights of law-abiding citizens. What's the future of the SAFE Act?
I think we'll continue, as I said, we'll continue to try to find ways to make our streets as safe as we can, whether that means harsher criminal penalties for people who use illegal weapons. I don't know, but I do know this. The SAFE Act is here to stay, and largely in the form that it's in, and it's going to continue to protect the interests of New Yorkers.
Yeah, certainly a hot button issue. Now, if you'd like to express your thoughts on the SAFE Act, you can contact your local lawmakers, and we have all of their information on our website, WHEC.com. Just click on this story. Scott?
Well, Rachel, as you said, a lot of gun rights advocates want to see the SAFE Act repealed. What's the chance of that actually happening?
Yeah, it's not likely, Scott. I asked Assemblyman Morelli that very question, and he tells me there's just not the support in Albany to do that, at least not right now.
All right, Rachel Spots, thank you for that report.